We are live this Friday. We are live this Friday. Everybody in the streets tonight, I see it slow coming in. We are live. What in the song? Friday Night Live? Is that a song? Or is that a movie? Friday Night Live?
Definitely
It's Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live. It's a movie.
Okay. Ha, 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 ha. Stay alive. Stay alive. Okay. Anyhow, hi, you guys. Happy Friday. Happy 4th of July Friday. Happy July the 5th Friday. Did y'all do anything besides eat?
Yeah, I did a lot. Changed out all my tires, got brakes, got a new grill, did a 12-mile bike ride, put said grill together, cooked on said grill, and yeah, I was out there. I was getting it.
You was doing it.
Yes, sir. What kind of grill you get?
It said a char griller, and it's a charcoal. I don't like the propane. I feel like it's disrespectful.
I'm with you there.
It is. It's very disrespectful.
What's disrespectful?
Anything but charcoal.
Facts. You need the coal.
Oh, okay.
And if you smoking, if you got yourself a gas smoker or what's the other one?
Pellets.
Yeah, you on that bullshit. You need to go ahead and downgrade the smoker to a real smoker with a barrel on the side. Throw you some cherry or some apple. What? Anyway.
Yeah.
So tonight, now that we know that you guys were barbecuing yesterday, and I do like to see a man on a grill. I don't really like to see women on a grill. I think that is the man, woman on the stove, man on the grill.
Get y'all ass in the kitchen.
And you can always tell by them shoes if that food's gonna be good.
I grill barefooted.
Look like?
I grill barefooted.
Oh, you must have a pool or
Wow.
something.
You said who?
You got a pool?
No.
Oh, you just go outside with no shoes on? Just regular?
Yeah. I'm a
Out
man.
on the deck.
Nah,
You got it on the deck.
No.
He in the grass.
On the
For the
slab.
grasshoppers.
You know what? I got some great news. Only a few tickets, I think it was like 25-30%, they say, of Sexy Red's concert sold.
Right. I've seen that. I wonder who else was on the lineup.
What show? There was a show that I saw that was on this network where somebody was talking about how they always have to have other artists. Sexy Red has to have other artists in order to sell out the venues.
Yeah, they did say that.
And
Yeah, so now we're finding out it's not her. It's probably the combination of the other artists, right?
I don't know if I can agree with that still. I mean, she's still, I would say, fairly influential.
Well, I wouldn't say she's not influential. Now, selling out concerts and being influential are two different things.
I agree.
So goes to, a lot of people got upset because she won she did not win the Artist of the Year award at BET.
Yeah, I've seen Jermaine Dupri say something about that. And it's like, nigga. It's like, bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was kind of happy that took place. What y'all think?
so okay, so when we're looking at just first of all, this is going to sound like I endorse her music, and I don't. I don't even listen to it. But the way she came onto the scene and the three songs that exploded, it's very difficult to deny the award, considering that she was ridiculously popular, and she remained popular throughout the entirety of 2023.
But is she popular because her music is good, or is she popular because she's a spectacle? Like,
Yeah, it's the shock factor.
It,
yeah. So there's a difference. So when I think of an artist, I think of true talent, right? And you're the artist. So when I'm looking at a person, and not the favorite song, maybe she can get that, the nicest beat, whatever that is. But when I'm talking about you're giving a person who's the artist
Right,
and an award, I would think that there needs to be talent that goes along with that.
for sure.
yeah, she's definitely, in my opinion, a no talent ass clown. But in you just can't dispute the numbers and the popularity. It's very difficult to dispute that, especially at an award show that that's pushing the popularity and the achievement. So I, it's just difficult. There weren't any. There were some. There were other good artists, but there was nobody with her popularity the way she exploded in 2023. It's just it's unfortunate for her that she didn't get the award, and it's unfortunate for the rest of us that we still have to listen to this bitch. But that's a
I don't
different
know if I can
conversation.
agree with it being unfortunate that she didn't get the award though.
I mean, when a person earn like it's
You
difficult for
know,
me.
so you're telling me she's the only artist I don't listen to any of the music. She's the only artist that came out this year that was popping.
At her level, you'd be hard
She
pressed to
didn't even
find
sell
another
out
one.
a concert. She's at 30%.
I can't argue that. This is 2024.
So we just laughing at it. We just think it's like, oh, she's not pulling in. She's not pulling them in.
But she was though. It's just it's just difficult for me to sit here and say, hey, just because I don't like her, just because I don't support any of her music, just because I don't support anything that she does, that she didn't do enough to earn the award.
Well, maybe we're saying you have to have a little bit more than your twat to be artist of the year. You got to talk about a
Especially
little bit more than your twat.
it's
That's a fair statement. I won't even argue that.
especially on the black entertainment television.
Owned
Like,
by owned by who? Paramount now.
but
How black is it?
but which was sold by a black person to a white person. So
But you know what? Big ups to that, because let me just tell you this.
well, yeah, no, I get it. Hey, if you want to
Because
wash the hands of
because
it,
to
do
me
your
that means
thing.
we don't even condone. We're saying, okay, we hear it, we listen to it, but we ain't condone. We ain't about to award that. Give
Exactly.
an award to that.
Exactly.
One
That
thing to listen to it, it's nothing to put it on a pedestal, and we're not about to do that. Not here. We'll put you on the
that
stage. Go ahead and do it, but we're not about to award it.
that's fair. Who was she up against? I forget the young lady that
The
won, but who
Tyler
all was
girl,
much better artist? Ooh, much
right?
better artist.
Talented little girl.
Okay, I can't knock it.
Okay, so my next, so kind of going into this question. So there was a young man who had posted that he was homeless. This young man looks. Did you guys see the homeless guy? He had like pretty eyes. I
And
wish I knew how to upload on here. So
and all the
and I know you can't see it, but this is what he looks like right here. Okay. So this young man right here posted that he was homeless and he needed a place to stay. Get this. Over on this post it says 100, but I read was 1,000 women commented that they will take him in gladly, offer what, so whether it's 100 or 1,000, they would gladly take him in to their home and take care of him for a little bit to get him on his feet. How do you guys feel about that?
So let me make sure I understand the story. He
Mm-hmm.
posted on his IG that he's broke, he's homeless, he don't have a job, and he's trying to do something.
I
And
don't think
all
he
these,
said all that. I don't think he said
um,
all that.
I'm I'm I'm
Let me
I'm,
just make
I'm
sure I'm getting it right, okay? Hold on. Um. Oh, so he said he recently lost his home. He just needs a place that is reasonable to get back on his feet. Okay. Sleeping
okay,
in Atlanta shelters. So basically, yes, he's like he just wants to get back on his feet.
because he needs an address in order to really get a decent paying job. Okay. And all these women look at this guy and are like, "Oh, he looks good," or whatever the case is, and they're saying, "Yeah, yeah, I'll put him up. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah."
I'll make him something, child.
And then you'll be the next person on one of these damn podcasts complaining
Man.
that niggas ain't shit, niggas don't want to work, blah 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 blah, and you're the one that went out and decided to get this homeless man and put him up in your spot. Now he eating your kids Cheerios and fruit snacks. So I mean, you if that's what you want to do, I'm not the one to stop you. I'm just gonna tell you it's fucking stupid, because I believe y'all might disagree, but I believe a man that's really on his grind is gonna find a way. That's just what I personally believe. I've I've
Now,
I've been
do
I've
you think?
like
Oh, go ahead.
go
Sorry.
ahead. Uh,
Do you think it's different if it were a beautiful woman and she says, "Oh, I'm on hard time," and she looked just beautiful, and then all these guys like, "Oh, you come stay with me."
I'm I would be less concerned about a woman moving in with a guy, because my brain says in most cases the guy can protect himself, and he'll be able to put her up for a little bit if they're all if he's basing it off of the roommate assumption. Now, for a single woman to do it, I I wouldn't recommend any single woman doing it and putting herself at risk, because you don't know this dude. You don't know. One day you could, let's say, you not gonna cook, even though y'all are just roommates, and he get mad at you and he choke your ass out. Could you really stop him? And I think a man could protect himself. So looking at it from I think men and women are different enough to where if a man decided to do it, he understands all of the risk. He's probably did the mental calculation, and has decided to assume the risk. And if he needs to put her out, he can do that. And I think he has the best chances of protecting himself. I just don't think a woman should do that. Just like I don't think a woman should pick up hitchhikers and any of those types of things, because you put yourself at risk.
So you don't necessarily see anything wrong with it. You just think it's just risky for a woman.
I think it's stupid and risky. If
Yeah.
that, but if that's her spot, we I don't think we can tell somebody what to do with their house. So if that's what you want to do, go shit, do it. I just don't recommend it, and I think you're putting you, your family, everybody you know at risk by bringing a strange man into your house.
I had just watched a series on Netflix called Worst Roommate Ever.
Hmm.
And
It's
and
literally on my TV right now. Pause. Like I'm on one of the later episodes. Like, yeah, but go ahead.
I'm completely baffled by the fact that it's literally so many women on it's majority women, if not all women on there, moving grown ass men into their house. And then it's, oh, I how did this happen? How could I possibly find myself in this position that I can't get out of, or that I'm in danger? And it's like, why the hell are you moving a grown ass man that you don't know into your house? Like, that makes no logical sense whatsoever. But for whatever reason, that's that's what they do.
But why is it okay for the girl to go with the guy, but not the guy to go with the girl?
You know why?
Why?
Even then, it's a terrible decision. But like AP said, there's a higher likelihood that the man will be able to defend himself if something does escalate. But with a woman, moving a random man into a house, it's you're literally leaving yourself open for anything to happen.
And
I
HD,
mean,
just real quick before you go, to answer that from the woman's perspective, a strange woman shouldn't move into a man's house either. Like if you're a woman, you shouldn't be moving into a man's house because you run the risk of the same. It's the same dangers that are present for the woman moving a man into her house as for a woman moving into a man's house. The same dangers are present, but I'm looking at it from the person whose home it is perspective. As a man, and I know I'm square and I'm on the up and up. I can take care of myself and I can defend the house as a man if I need to, even with this strange woman here. A woman on the flip side, she couldn't protect herself if he wanted to go all out. And if people decided to ransack the house, she wouldn't be able to do shit about it. Let's say he has friends and it's all a setup. She wouldn't be able to do shit about it.
yeah, I
But
don't
no, a
agree.
woman shouldn't move in with a woman should not move in with a strange man either.
Yeah, strange and somebody that you know and you spend time with, and this that, and third is different. But also, I think that I think you might have mentioned this, but I think both men and women, they're equally at risk, because as much as we don't consider women as threats, we got mad numbers, statistics, state to state, city to city, that women be doing damage to dudes. It's
Oh, yeah.
just that most guys are trained to not see women as threats, and literally, even if she don't necessarily take your life, she might take your livelihood. She might take, your dignity, your respect. Because listen, all it takes is that one phone call that she called somebody or she called the police and said something happened, and even if it's not true,
Yep.
even if nothing gets filed, you literally can lose your entire livelihood off of just simply a phone call. And so I say, if you're going to be staying with anybody, you're going to be taking a risk regardless, because even if you know them, they might be cool for a while, but then something happens in their life. And now you got to deal with them dealing with new things that they haven't dealt with. And so that's why I'm a very strong stickler on, like, how you receive information, how you listen, how you communicate, and like what filters do you have in your mind when you're trying to communicate a thought. So that's the kind of stuff that I pay attention to. Like, what are your habits? What are your beliefs and all that other good jazz? So it's like you can make a good choice and it still turn out bad.
See,
I
I
agree,
can.
but to go with Biz says, because we both watched the same show. Please remember, on if you look at the first episode, it was a woman killing a whole bunch of men. So they just do it in different types of ways. They don't do it physically. They do like a sneak attack, like you
Right.
said, maybe put some in your food, and you all of a sudden it just gradually leads to the demise. And it's unfortunate, but don't think that women, it's some crazy, some scandalous women out here too. But go ahead, AP.
No, I was just gonna say I would think that in I would hope, let me rephrase. I would hope in most cases that the man would weigh the pros and cons and understand that you can get uh in-home camera for $40 and get that put in every room, link it to your phone, and you can kind of help protect yourself from those situations before you move a strange woman into your house. That if you
Hey,
don't have any of the,
about
if you
we
don't
don't
have, go ahead.
how about we just don't move strange people into our houses? Like
No, I do agree with that.
that's the simple fix of this. Like the fact that people even do that again is mind-boggling, be it men or women. Like I just don't understand it. I I had went on a binge of watching like the court TV shows, and I want to say it was either Judge Judy or Judge Mathis. And there was a case where this woman came home with her best friend after a long night of partying and drinking, and there's this dude that was on the porch sleep. It's 4 or 5 in the morning, something like that. These two women sit down and have a conversation with this grown man, and essentially one of the girls move him in her house that very night. Now, mind you, this guy just got out of jail and was waiting for his grandma to wake up or something, and 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 couldn't get in, so he slept on the porch on the front. She moves this guy in. They get into a relationship, and he starts stealing from her and all type of other stuff. And she's like in the courtroom, like baffled by what's going on. Like, oh, I thought he was this and that, and it's like, girl, this you just met this man that just came out of jail, sleeping on your front porch, and you move him into your house. Like, why do women do that?
This before we dive into that, just a quick question, because this happens a lot, especially in college towns, where there will be four-bedroom apartments and four strangers will be
That's
put
college.
together.
That's college.
But is it really different?
That's completely different.
How so?
That's completely different. This is something that's organized, right? This is an organized setup where these four different people have their own individual rooms, and then of course a shared space, right? To That's completely different from coming home and finding some random man sleeping on the front porch, and you move him into the house just because he's cute.
I'm
That's
just looking at it. I'm looking at it from the stranger aspect because it's the same scenario. Like the guy. We're gonna go back to what, or just go back to what Shan was talking about before. This dude is saying, "Hey, I just need a place that's not super expensive. I'm trying to get back on my feet. Is there anybody that has a room available?" Basically, is what he's asking, and all of these women are saying yes. How is that any different from four strangers moving into a college apartment?
Well,
that's
it's a little different. As a person who
that's
used to work in
that's
housing,
completely different, man.
at a college when I was in college, it's
That's
it's a little
completely
different because
different. It's not a little. Don't say
so
it's a
so
little.
it is
That's a lot
different,
of
and
different.
let me tell you why it's different, right? So there are, don't get it twisted, you could be with a person who just mentally loses it, because we've seen those incidents as well. But for the most part, when you are attending a college, the college, there's an acceptance, right? So when you pull up a document, it's going to have all your behavior. It's going to have your entire background to pull up to see if you are a liability to the campus, to even have you on campus. That's what most colleges will do. So you kind of like a track record of people. You're not just accepting, I would hope not, just anybody. But again, you just never know. There are people who turn out to, you know, but that's a very, very small percentage. You're going to have a bigger issue, which is a stranger on the street, than you will going to a college and meeting somebody, for the first time in a college. I don't think that they're the same.
That's nowhere near the same, man. That's not even in
Yeah.
the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Listen, you literally are signing up for the most random. Unless you pick your team or the people that you live with, you don't know who's up in that place. Now, granted, the difference that I can see is that this is somebody that more than likely you're choosing to be in a relationship with, and then you're bringing them in your home. And versus when you're on a university, you don't own that place. The people own that place, and you guys agree to stay there for X amount of time until your time is up. But
And
like,
and, and it's not men, and it's not a co-ed living area that they're in. It's going to be all men in that space or all women.
That's not
hey,
correct.
listen, we definitely had some stuff going on in those dorms.
Well, see, I don't. Is not even the dorm. I'm talking about the the apartments, and that's not necessarily correct, Viz. Where it's gonna be three or four of the same gender. Like my son is actually gonna be staying off campus in an apartment with three other roommates. One of them happens to be a female.
Off
So
campus. We're talking about on campus.
it's student housing. It's all still done kind of through the school, and that's the way a lot of college apartments work.
It's a community college.
No, it's a major university.
Oh man, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen, man.
But you see my point.
I'm not understanding your point.
So you got four. So imagine a giant apartment complex
Yes,
with four bedrooms.
correct.
You are moving in. You have never met the people you are moving in with.
Most
So we're
colleges.
that far, right? And just kind of to debunk one of the points Viz made is that they're all either male or female. That isn't correct.
No, some of them are
At least,
co-ed.
right. So again, you don't know these people and you don't know what the hell you're gonna wind up with. Hell, you don't know if they will actually drive you insane. I mean, there are so many different scenarios that can play out. So I don't see the difference between
There's definitely a difference still,
Yeah,
but y-
I still
there's a
think it's a
difference.
difference because a random person, a random woman moving a man in, and maybe not so much in the case of the worst roommates ever, the TV show, but these women that are willing to move this random man in, essentially because he's attractive. Now there's a sexual motivation behind it. You know what I'm saying? So now these women could arguably be considered sexual predators if you really kind of think about it. Just for this man to potentially be a sexual predator and then find themselves in this position that they can't get out of and then blame all men for, you know what I'm saying, for whatever. So it is, in my opinion, it's still no different, uh just because it's a university. You know that this person is essentially going to the college. They have something to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a background check, hopefully, depending on what college you're going to. So there's a lot of
there
different
is.
factors. Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that plays a part compared to just letting a stray cat in your house.
So I have a question. Are you considering the strange person is somebody you completely don't know, but you see them and you're like, I'll help them out? Is that what you mean? Or are you talking about just people in general who get to know each other? They might be dating, they might be in a relationship or whatnot, and then they choose to stay. Are those two different situations?
Say that one more time. I heard you, but I want to make sure I heard you completely.
So, so you got one situation where you got a complete total stranger that you see, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna help him out or help her out, right? And you agreed for them to come in your house and stay for whatever amount of time. Are you saying that that situation is the same as if his people is getting to know each other, they're dating, they're doing all the things, right? And they may be in a relationship, they may not, but they choose to stay together. Are you saying that those are the two same situations?
Um, I I think that they are similar situations, but they are different at the same time. I think the first one where it's just this completely random person that you have no desire to be in a relationship with, and you're choosing to occupy this space together. Then yeah, I think that's two completely different things. Because
I
there,
agree.
Viz,
so there was one instance on the show where this Asian woman, ex-military, she moved this older Asian gentleman into her house. And dude probably had maybe like 30, 40 years on her or something like that. Right. She was just looking for a roommate to occupy the space to help pay for the mortgage. So dude is there, and they didn't say how many months had went past, but essentially this guy developed feelings for this woman, right? He calls her sister, like, hey, man, I think I'm feeling your sister, woo woo woo. And the sister shot him down, like, no, hey, I don't think that that's gonna work. You're way older. She looks at you like a friend, woo woo woo. And that sparked it. So now, dude, he went out, got a tattoo, started getting plastic surgery in his face to make him look younger. You know what I'm saying? He's doing all of this stuff in order to appease, what I'm saying, this woman that he's been living with and he's now interested in. She essentially shoots him down, and guess what happens next? She ends up missing. She's dead, buried,
Mhm.
buried by a tree or something. You know what I'm saying? So it is, in my opinion, if for a woman to move a random man into their house, even if it's a man that you're in a relationship with, uh, there's two things that's gonna happen, and we even see this with couples in general. There's two things that happen. Uh, One, either the somebody is gonna fall in love with the other person, and it's gonna be bad blood essentially, or two, somebody is gonna be physically hurt um, in that situation. So it's one of those deals of like, why even put yourself in that position?
Okay, well, that's a good point. I think the whole point of me saying that was, so often, because it's going into our topic, so often we give, women this reputation of it's all about the money. It's not all about the money. Because the question is, are relationships transactional? Do y'all think relationships are transactional?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Uh,
I think relationships are transactional.
yeah, I think it's transactional to a degree. Um, Only because, we all know that once people start feeling like they're not getting what they want or deserve, they start making adjustments, right? But there are times where you freely give, even when the other person doesn't have to give. So, and it's not necessarily transactional at that point, but like if a guy is typically not providing the things that this woman wants, she's going to want something else. If the girl isn't providing the things that a lot of the guy is wanting, he might not leave, but he might leave the relationship before he actually leaves. So, you know, I think that I'm okay with them being relationships being transactional. But I don't think that it's solely transactional. Like I think that, the main things are transactional, but the small things that we do to care and, love and help each other out, I don't think those are transactional.
I think that is still transactional though. If even in the case where you use that that even if this person doesn't have anything to give, I'm still going to give them something. Give them create a transaction essentially with them. And I I think that is still the same case because in many I think it's still the same because in many cases, you're potentially doing that because they give you something. You know what I'm saying? Like there's still some type of exchange. If if this is somebody in your family or or even a random person on the street, you know what I'm saying? They made you smile or something, or they you feel empathy for them or something. There's still some type of transaction that's happening, in my opinion, in that case. So I think that relationships, be it business, be it personal, be it intimate, they're all transactional. You pour into me, I pour into you, type of deal. So that's my perspective of it.
And I tend to agree with you, Viz. Um, if you're not getting something from the relationship, why are you in it? And when you look at that from both sides, then by definition it's transactional. And that, I hate to title it that way, but just by the definition, you give, I give. If you don't give, then we have to reevaluate. And that's what happens in most relationships. So by the definition, it is trans. All relationships are transactional.
I mean, it's life. I just had my niece come over. She's a baby. I haven't seen her in quite some time. And due to me not seeing her in quite some time, she doesn't know me, of course, right? So I have to invest. I had to invest this time with her, playing peekaboo, and you know what I'm saying, uh, trying to get her to be comfortable with who I am, and knowing that I'm not stranger danger and all that other shit, right? I have to do this. I have to invest these transactions in order to build this trust with her. You know what I'm saying? And we're taught that at an early age, and that doesn't stop. We experience that even with your parents. You know what I'm saying? Uh, your immediate family is all still transactional. So I think maybe just the term itself could turn people off, or it can trigger them, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, it's still transactional.
So what do you think that people, so for example, a lot of times women get a bad rep, like, so for example, if she wants a guy to pay for the meal or to do those types of things, why do you think that that's looked down upon?
I think that is looked down upon because people are taking advantage of it, and then the way that it's being packaged and presented on social media.
Yeah, I think it's more so that it gets looked at negatively because most of the time it seems like from the outside looking in that women don't have to invest anything besides just being there, but brothers are required to invest everything and the hopes of potentially getting any kind of attention from you. And I think that people stop just like letting stuff be. And because back in the day, you literally could just, you would do that because you were supposed to do that. But then people would be like, well, why are we doing that? And then you start peeling back the layers and you'd be like, well, this ain't fair. You say that you want fairness, but you never have to give anything until you feel comfortable. But whether I feel comfortable or not, I still have to give from the beginning until eternity. So it's just like people literally just started being like, this ain't fair. And I think that more guys have become quote unquote sassy when they've been like, this ain't fair. Like, you mean to tell me I gotta pay and you ain't gotta pay nothing? You be like, oh, thank you. And that's what I'm supposed to do. It's just
Eh,
like it just seemed like a bad deal.
Oh,
I got uh, I before you jump in real quick, I got two questions. HD. First question, and the second one's a follow up. First one, can you define what you mean by men invest everything?
Money, time, protection, presence, energy. You provide and give and invest everything in order in the hopes to entice this woman to want to do more than say thank you, had fun. You have a nice day, sir.
That's fair. And the second thing is, do you think, and I hate to like turn the mirror back at women, but do you think a lot of it has to do with women now being able to work and getting the equality that they asked for? And do you think that's why men see it more as unfair? Or because from my perspective, we've always invested everything, but but then we didn't really get the same what I imagine. I wasn't there, so it's just what I imagine. Men didn't get the same type of pushback that they get now, that women can make their own money and have their own living and live the way they choose to live without a man. So do you think that plays a part into men viewing it as, shit, you can get all of this. This is kind of unfair to me now.
Yeah, I think with the access of watching enough internet, people have begun to question things that used to not be a question. Um, I think one potent thing that has come up across the internet in the recent years is that both men and women are seeking traditional things from non-traditional people. So even though none of us are virgins, even though we both make money, we have our own cars, we have our own houses, some of us have our own kids, right? So we got all of these things, right? We still require the things as if none of the stuff that we have or that we live don't exist. And I think that, once people started being like, you know what? This is kind of crazy. But it's just like, even if you realize that it's crazy, you still naturally do those things that are crazy for the people that you want to. Like a girl that you really like and she really likes you, you don't have no problem giving her all your money, all your time to some degree because of the respect, the care, and the submission that she shows toward you, the respect she shows towards you. So you're be willing to give her more than say a woman that is, you know, antsy. She don't listen to you. She don't care about nothing you got to say. She tell you what we gonna do and da da da, and you just be like, she puts a hand in your face. So I think, you know, when you meet people that you feel like make you feel comfortable, make you feel valued and respected, you will give those things that don't make sense. It don't make sense for me to pay for everything just because you're a woman. It doesn't make sense,
So,
especially when you make your own money.
Well, let me
so
say this real
okay,
quick.
wait.
Let me say this real quick. So, and I know I might get some pushback, especially in the comments, for making this statement. But realistically, and I'm sure that the men can agree for it. Realistically, being the things that are placed on men is not fair in general, right? If we really want to look at it, there's a lot of things that's expected of men solely that we can say that's not fair, but that's it's just part of the game. It's part of being a man. Is part of carrying that load on your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? That's what manhood is, in my opinion. And if we lose sight of that, then I think that we're going to do more disservice to the younger generation that's to come. The other part of it as well is that it's in our animalistic nature to do whatever it takes to please a woman that is that we're essentially attempting to mate with. In nature, we see the peacock show his feathers in order to win the female peacock's willingness to mate with him. There's birds that like dance and all type of shit, and they blow up their chest, and whoever got the biggest chest. And then you got lions that fight with each other to the death. Like these are things that are just simply in our animalistic nature, uh, that I I think will never change, and I think that it's a necessity for it to be there because said the strongest will survive. The more um the more the higher tier of man will breed with the higher tier of woman, and you know what I'm saying, and that's just what our culture has always been based on. So I get the point of where it's unfair that the man would have to pay for everything. And I 100% agree that it should be reciprocated. But early on, uh, going through those motions of spending the money, investing the time, whatever the case may be, that's to me is just simply part of the game.
So what I was trying to say was I think that they both take risks, right? The risks just look a lot different. For example, men come in with the risk. You take her out. You want to see you had that initial risk, right? So hey, I want to see if I'm vibing with her. Now I will say you have less of a risk if you're dating with intent because you will want to know that you've invested that money on your future wife, and you probably won't feel so bad about it, right? But when you're playing around a lot, you're gonna take more risk when you play. Okay. And so you take the risk at the beginning, but let's be very clear. She too is taking a risk because her risk can be I want marriage, and you're just there to waste her time. And the one thing about women is time matters. It matters when it comes to being pregnant, your biological clock. We talk about it here all the time. You wasting time, your valuable years, your prime years on somebody. And those are things you can always get that money back. She can't get that time back. She
Uh,
can't
we,
get those looks
we
back.
we
She
just talked about women bringing in strays. They don't care about time.
so what I'm saying is, well, I think that women have always done, what it may not be to this extent of things, but they've always, I think women get a bad name of like, oh, you'll never date a broke man. That's not true at all. We know that's not true. But I think that both men and women take risks. He takes a risk with his pocket. She takes a risk with her time. And yeah, you may say, well, he has time, but the time is not the same. A man can get older and still be valuable in the marketplace. A woman gets older, she's losing value in the marketplace. And there's the difference. So unless it ends in commitment, that was, you know,
That's fair.
money well spent, I guess. You was able to spend all this time, got all these benefits out of her, and she got nothing in the end.
I mean,
She
but
got
but again, that's part of the game, though. You
Right.
know,
So that's what I'm saying. Both take risks in
yeah,
the situation. So
yeah.
hey, Miss Polly. Oh, she at work, honey. Counting
I am
that
here. I'm gonna clock the last two gentlemen. I'll be right back.
I know that's right. Got them tills in the hand trying to count that money. Okay. If anybody else want to add to that? Yeah, and that's why I know there was a post that I said, and one of the posts was, if a man, I think the question was, if a man, would you go 50-50 with a man, right? And my answer was, if that man is my husband, absolutely. If he feels like we need to divide all, now 50-50 means we've divided everything. The house, everything is divided 50-50, okay? Because there needs to be reciprocity, needs to be balance. If he says that we're doing it, absolutely. If you're not my husband, no. Because you want me to split 50-50 with you wasting my time. What? That's not gonna happen. That's not an even exchange. It absolutely is not. But if that's my husband or my fiance, or I know this man, we have come to the conclusion that we are going to be together for the long haul, like life partners.
A man shouldn't be. So what? And you're saying that you wouldn't do that under what circumstances are we talking the 50-50? Like y'all living together?
Yeah, if we live together. If he's not my husband or my fiance. or my we've had an agreement
So
that we be
so
life partners.
so a man is supposed to pay for everything, even though you're not fully committed to them.
No, 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 no. I didn't say I wasn't committed to them. I'm saying we know we're not. It's not a legit commitment.
Right. That's not being fully committed though.
Oh,
Right.
oh, you're saying he because I feel like men control that aspect of the relationship. So when you said I'm not fully committed to them, I'm thinking you're saying in my heart I'm not fully committed. Not
I'm
necessarily.
saying,
I wouldn't.
right. I'm saying the woman isn't fully committed. So if the woman, so with what you're saying, and I get it, the man would have to initiate the marriage, right? But if I don't think that a man should take on a husband role for a woman that's not his wife.
Oh,
It's
okay. So you're saying they shouldn't even be in the same household. That's what you're saying.
if they are in the same household, I don't think that that he should be paying for everything.
Do
No,
you think she should be giving her body up to him?
if they in the same household,
Why? Well, so why does she have to give something and he's not?
but
So
he is
I'm not.
giving something.
Huh?
He is giving something though.
What is he giving?
He's giving his time, his money, his body.
But she giving her money
She
too.
giving the same.
Yeah. So how
Right,
is
but
that?
that's my point though. Like it's a mutual thing. It's
No,
reciprocated.
I
No,
wish
sex
y'all would
is
get
not
that
the
out.
same for
It's
men
not.
and
Stop
women
saying
when
that.
it comes
No,
to
It's
that.
not.
Don't be
that,
funny. That was funny.
It's
But
whoa,
that's
not.
cute.
hold on now.
We
Sex
just
is
said
not
in a
the same
sentence
for men
that
and
she
women,
loses value. She loses value by being with you too long and you're not married to her. You're wasting her time.
but she
So
moved in with him.
you're getting all of these benefits of wifey, knowing that you're wasting her time and you have no intent for her.
But she
Okay.
moved
Now,
in with him.
I didn't say I said they moved in together. I didn't say that she moved in with him. And
If
if she moved in with him, that's even worse. I mean, she paying his bills.
well, I'm saying if two people if they don't have if they live separately, right, and they both get a house together,
Well, they
there's
went. So we're not saying they're getting a mortgage together. What I'm saying
right.
is
Well,
that
apartment.
let's just say she. I would assume that a man probably wouldn't live with a woman, but if she moves into his house, right? I personally, this is just my idea of the situation. I think it would be stupid of a woman to move into a man's house who is not committed to her on a true commitment level, which means he's her husband, life partner. They make that decision, or the fiance.
I mean, I would say it would be quite foolish for her to move in with him and that not be the case, and then expect anything less than you know sharing each other's bodies with each other. If that's the transaction, like I get what y'all are trying to say, but to say that sex is different for men compared to women, I don't agree with that at all.
It,
And
it,
and and
you don't have to agree with it. You'll never. It's one of those things. It's kind
it
of like
is.
that women will never understand
Well,
about. It's just things
yeah.
that you'll never understand.
Well, I mean,
what
I
makes
don't even say understand. Men
what
say it out their own mouths every day, so that doesn't make sense. If you guys say the value of a woman, if you say not even virgin but low body count or whatever you believe in, which a lot of men spew that out. If you're saying that's you're basically saying every man that she decides to say, hey, this might be the man, because no one usually guesses right the time or the second. So every time she's doing that, she's losing value as a woman in the eyes of the men that she's trying to attract. And then you're gonna sit there and say it's not the same, because men can run up thousands of bodies and still be looked at as valuable. Matter of fact, looked at as if that's positive. The more women you get shows that you're more desirable and that women want you and the other women want you because the other women want you. So that doesn't make sense. So it's not the same when it comes to the eyes of the people who are in the marketplace right now. I didn't say in my own personal opinion, I think it's silly fact, but who am I? I am not the majority, and it's who we are talking about. So I'm just saying that's a majority. I don't believe it myself. But it is what it is. You got to take in account that women who give themselves out are looked at as less, and the ones who give it out less are looked at as more valuable, as they're not what they call pair bonding. All these things that have come out that people are saying, which I don't even know if those listen. At this point, it don't even matter. If that's what it is, he's losing value. You are not.
Oh, I'm again. I get it, and I agree that
It costs
most
more to
men.
lease a car than it does to buy it.
You still paying for the lease though.
You're
I do
paying for the lease. That's what I'm saying. It costs
right,
more to lease the car
right.
than it is to buy it because it loses its value while it's with you. While it's with you.
What with the lease?
Yes, that's why it costs more. You're not purchasing it; you're just leasing it. But it costs more to lease the car.
But they're going to make more money off of that though.
See, I think you're never mind.
Oh, I hear what you're saying, but I just
At
think
the
that
end
that's
of
a
the
bad
day, she
analogy.
loses more by being if you know if you have no intent to marry her. She is losing time, biological clock. She's losing her market value as far as aging, and she's also losing like she said, that's a body that now she has explained that lowers her value according to you guys because body count does matter.
It's relevant, yeah, for sure.
And so you feel like you should be able to do all that while making her pay half of the bills and do everything that you're doing in the household.
So I think if a woman, if I'm more so torn by it, by the by us essentially telling men to take on husband duties when they're not married. That's
No. I'm what I'm saying to you is if you don't have an intent to marry, because only the man knows if he has an intent to marry this woman, right? Because he controls marriage. What I'm
okay.
saying to you is if you know you don't have an intent to marry this woman sometime soon, you should do the right thing by her. Either let her go, don't play her, or pull more weight because she's losing value by being with you because she can't go into your mind and know that because we've seen it all the time. A man knows 6 months whether he's gonna marry you. We see this all the time, or within a year if he's gonna marry you. Other than that, he's just riding you. He's just playing you. You're a placeholder. So he knows what he's going to do with you, right? So if he knows in his heart that look, he telling his boys like, I don't know, dude, like he got that, then it's only one or two ways to make this right. It's one, let her go, which he probably is not gonna do, or accommodate her in some type of way. She probably just don't even know why you're doing it. It's just like, oh, he's so nice. He's paying the bills. She thinks she got her a winner, and the whole time he's just like, nah, I just don't want to do you that bad. I'm gonna do you bad because I'm gonna work with you, but I don't want to do you that bad.
We was just having a conversation about this, and I think that in most cases with men that find themselves in that position, I think they hold on to the woman out of hope that something will change.
Okay, that's possible.
Yeah.
And I think that those intents, that intent is different because in your mind, you like, I'm feeling this girl. I just really need her to make changes. And to me, that's not necessarily going in trying to play her. It's just really, I'm just trying to work with her to see if I can get her on the same page as me. So that may look a little different, but let's just be honest. A lot of people are not doing that. That girl being there slaving. I've seen women who are great women to these dudes, and they just be like,
So I
this is
think
only
that,
when you live together. This is not a situation when you guys are not living together. This is only when you, in my opinion, when you are
so, but that's the thing though. Like if we are living together, there has to be some type of rapport that has already been established, right? So we can only assume that once these two people have moved in, there was some type of level of the honeymoon
connection.
phase or whatever the case may be, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then once we have now lived together for 6 months, and she finds out that I leave my socks on the floor and she don't cook or some shit like that. So now those things that are being communicated that, oh, okay, well, I'm not a fan of this and I'm not a fan of that, and nobody is changing it, then of course, as we were talking about earlier with it being transactional, um that that'll play a part to where it may make it more complicated, or the man will feel as if, oh, she's not listening to she's not allowing for me to lead, or whatever the case may be. It can be whatever that will be in that position. But I think that if you place yourself in that position, um then and you're not married, I just don't think it should be the man should be paying for everything.
I just think it sounds like that there was a breakdown in the communication. So she it's her job to express exactly what she wants and what she's looking for. It's his job to express exactly what he wants and what he's looking for. Um, it's his job to express his intent for her. It is her job to ask what his intent for her is. Otherwise, you got two people that are aimlessly living together with no sense of direction. And yes, a man could string you along. He absolutely could. But at the same time, I'm not gonna. I don't think it's right that a man pays quote unquote more because she's choosing to devalue herself because she hasn't expressed well enough what she's looking for, nor has she asked the proper questions to get what his intent is. Because if the way I see it is the way you laid that out, Shan, was I understand that she's being devalued, but if I'm pulling more weight, that sounds closer to prostitution than anything.
It is prostitution. I think that when you, to me, whether we want to say prostitution, whether you're doing it for money or not, sleeping with a man free of charge is also nasty, because that means your coochie ain't even worth $1. It's just free. You just giving it out to anybody. He ain't doing nothing for you for it. It's just free
He's
coochie.
paying he's
It's
paying 50% of the bills.
it's goodwill coochie. Okay.
All right,
So when so anyway it goes, if it ain't your husband, it's gonna be looked down upon regardless. That's just my opinion on the whole sexual thing. But
wait, you saying a woman having sex in general will be looked down upon?
what I'm saying to you is a woman who she should look down. So if a woman is having sex consistently with a man who has no intent for her, that should equally be looked down upon as a woman who is having sex with a man and is for money. Because at the end of the day, they both not gonna lead to anything. You're having useless. The sex is just, so what? Because he whispering sweet nothings in your ear, he just gets a free ride. All he's doing is treating you like a prostitute, but he ain't paying for it. He's using you. What's the difference? Because he's using you more often, that makes it better. What? Like,
I
make
mean,
it make sense to me.
oh, I think that she has to be getting something out of it if she's just having sex with the man, though. Like I don't.
Usually when a woman has sex, she really wants to be with. I do. These women can play y'all out. Most of the time, when a woman opens herself to you in that type of way, she wants to be in a relationship with you, right? It's very rare unless you do something, you keep doing it over and over again. She does want to be with you. But and it was something else that you had mentioned. I forgot it. God, I forgot. It was something AP mentioned. What did you? Just sum up what you just said, AP, because I don't want to forget.
Shit.
Oh, if
I
she's,
don't.
you said something about if she's living with you.
He's pulling the weight.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but
I base.
this is not. This is just my opinion on what should happen. This is not buy, or whatever. I'm just saying, if we look at, it's not an equal exchange, because she's going to lose more in that situation than he's going to lose. But I will say, if he's intentionally dating her, he's truly intentional about the dating, and it just didn't work out, that's a totally different story. But a lot of times that ain't what's happening.
And just so that I'm clear on my stance on this, I don't believe a man and a woman should move in together until they're married. That's just my personal stance. So um, the living together arrangement hardly ever works out. Y'all end up, when it's time to break up, somebody's feeling some kind of way. You've relied on another person to pay, let's say, half of the shit for X amount of time, and you no longer have that. Half is no longer there, so you could find yourself stuck in a home with a person you don't really even want to be with, just due to the circumstance. So my opinion is, men, women, don't move in together until y'all are married. It's
Yeah, until
not
there's
a
some
good it's not a good thing.
legit commitment now. I don't. I just don't. I don't think that is wise to tell men to. I don't think it's wise to tell men to play a husband role to a woman that's not his wife.
And I agree. And I agree that when we're talking to younger generations, I agree that I would want men to tell their daughters and younger people, don't play the wifey role to a man who is not your husband. And to me, that includes sexual activity.
If I may ask Viz real quick, what is a husband role?
Well, so the husband role, I would say, is uh more so aimed towards the 50-50 or the man paying everything role. I think that it's important to show that you can be a husband, that you have the qualities of being a husband, and same for women. I think that it's important for women to show a man that I am qualified. I do understand what the basics of what it takes to be a wife. I think that that should be shown before things get serious. Because if you're not showing that, then marriage isn't going to change it. You know, marriage isn't something that's just going to, you just turn on the light switch and then they're this perfect wife or something. If they're not doing it, in my opinion, if they're not doing it or showing it beforehand, then they're not going to do it and show it when they are married, when marriage is in play. So I think that primarily for that is, I would say, just men being expected to pay for everything, and you're not the husband.
So so you were looking at it from a monetary standpoint.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, I could dig
I,
that.
I think
I
that
d-
the
I,
value.
I view a man's the man's value on money the same as a woman's value on her body, right? Men tend to love that money. Women should be loving their bodies. Okay. Not because I feel like they're
Yeah.
even exchange, but because the value they have on that person. You understand? So with that being said, I do believe that women need to be more cautious about who, just because a boy be like, oh, I want to be with you. I don't think that that should be the.
I don't know.
so
I don't know if I
so
can agree with that, Shan. No,
yeah, yeah.
I think that placing monetary value on men is not a right.
No, what I said is what they value. Men value money. I didn't say placing. So what I'm saying to you is what it means to a man. What money means to a man is the same thing what a woman feels about her body. Like the thing that I place value on my sex, right? Because it's my body. You place money on your money because you worked hard for that. That's what I meant by that.
Uh,
Not
I,
what
I,
each other places value on.
right. No, I get that. I don't. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I don't
The,
think that. I think that men only value uh, money and wealth because they understand what it opens the doors to, um, the the um, the possibilities that come from it. But even there are men that are worth a lot of money, but they hold no value other than that. You know what I'm saying? I think that even some men still do or should value themselves more than they value the money, because the money don't mean shit if you're not, you know what I'm saying, solid.
Well, I mean, I agree with the money part. I mean, I don't have a disagreement about that part. Anybody else wanted to contribute to that before? I thought that was a decent, because that seems to be so. Somebody brought up this new generation of women, right? So when we talk about SEX, we talk about this new generation of, well, a new generation of girls gone wild, as if they did not exist when we were young. So do you think that it's? 'Cause I don't date young women. So, do you think that is changed as far as the young women are concerned?
Repeat that one more time for me, Shan. I don't know if I'm following.
We're talking about the XXX, and somebody stated in the comments that young women, are floozy like, a little bit more floozy like than in the past. Do you find that to be true? If you've ever dated a young woman, and if so, why do you think that that is?
I find that they dress more provocatively, but in regards to moving how the girls moved back when I was younger, no, it's about it. I'd say it was about the same. They definitely dress more provocative. It was a more conservative time back in the 90s, late 90s and early 2K for women. It was just a more conservative time. Now they shit they might as well not even come out with clothes. Some of these girls, it's crazy. But no, I don't think that they are more necessarily promiscuous. I think it's literally right at about the same.
I think it's definitely more, just off the strength of what the internet has done. Um, Back in the day, if you did have a chick that was a runner or something like that, or she got down, she was a local bust down, then or even if somebody was if a female was promiscuous and everyone didn't know, um now women they feel more comfortable with recording it. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, you couldn't really get a female to get on camera and do all the stuff that they doing now. But
Mm,
nowadays, no, that's normal. They with it. They gonna post it. They gonna share it. They gonna tell you to share it. Tell their daddy to share it. Like I think that is way, way, way different now
but
what it
but
was back in the day.
But when you look at it from back in the day standpoint, bro, we didn't have damn cameras in our hand either. We didn't like the access to the cameras weren't what they are now. Could you imagine pulling out a giant damn camcorder to try to record a sexual activity? Come on now. But what I will say is there there's more access to all the local bust downs than there was back in the day. That is the major difference. I don't think that there are more of them. I just think that there's more
You can
access
see them.
to more of them.
Hmm.
But is I think it's more, with it being more access to them, it makes other women feel more comfortable to do it. Is one of those deals of, monkey see monkey do.
Yeah.
And we definitely 100% on a lot of topics and views, we see that quite often. So if that's how OnlyFans got popular. You know, it was one of those deals of where, oh man, such and such made uh $10,000 in 2 days. What, for real? Shit, I'm gonna sell some pussy on that too then. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I don't think I don't think that the what am I trying to say? I think that you guys overdo how many people have OnlyFans. I don't think that many people. I don't think that many women have OnlyFans.
no,
Okay.
I'm saying there's a lot of women.
So a lot of women that you don't know, they're just women you see on the internet who are those types of women. Because I'm telling you right now, a woman who don't got it in her is not. It don't matter how much money OnlyFans can sit here and throw in my face. I'm not gonna share my
Right,
the
but that's you though. You know what I'm saying?
value.
Like
Right.
I get what you're saying, but there are a lot of women, like and women that I've met in person that I wouldn't even assume had a OnlyFans, but
How many
they
family members do you have? And how many women in your family have an OnlyFans?
in my family, shit, none that I know of.
Okay. Have anybody on here got family members who got OnlyFans?
Not that I'm aware of, because that's a conversation that we haven't. If I'm aware of it,
Anybody like your family friends that have OnlyFans? Not some random chick on the street. I'm talking about
Yeah, I know people, I know friends of mine that legit. I know a few of them actually that have OnlyFans.
the question that I have, Viz, is
Uh,
I've heard of like maybe four people in a circle that's outside of my circle, the folks that I have heard of, right? But they're having that intercourse with one person, not multiple people. So, looking at it from the context of, are they more, are are the younger girl, again, I don't really have a circle of younger girls, but in the context of the question, I don't think it's more of them that are doing that per se with random people. There might be people who do it as couples, and I think there's a lot of that maybe, but I
Yeah,
don't think that the they're busting it down at a higher rate than when we were younger. Cause shit, they were. I thought the rate was high back then. I didn't really run into problems with getting getting sex. So I mean, I don't think it's more or less. I just think it's the same types, just doing it more publicly. And the look of the younger generation with the less clothes just gives a bad aesthetics of what they might actually be when they are not that at all. Just an opinion.
yeah. Um, I agree with the question. I think it's about the same. I think it's about the same. But I think them being like out there, like you said, busting the wire. I think that's about the same. I think what's changed everybody's opinion and how they feel about it, especially men, um, is the perception that women are not very sexual. You might have, had your, oh, there's some freaks out here. We didn't have freaks, but I think the perception of men on women is always like, oh, hopefully she's not. He's like, not doing all these crazy things and all that. But in actuality, you have examples like, what was that Netflix special? Um, all the aunties didn't want nobody to see because, you're like, what, freak? Is it freak meek? Yeah, something like that. But you had women doing that. It's not like unusual to hear those things. Um, I, I think you said it's more public. It's more public, and the fact that now women have the ability to have or finance their sexuality on their own. No man's exploiting them to get that money. It's not like a pimp or your boyfriend trying to put you out there to look good so you can get money. Now you can do it on your own and you don't have to give your funds to anyone else. You have control over what you do and what access you give others to you. Like some women do feet, some women just do, take pictures of themselves or just touch themselves. So they have the ability to control what they do and what is shown and how many people they would like to show it to or whatnot. I'm not saying that you can't get it, but the access, and like you said, they don't have to do it with, 50 men. They could just do it with one person. But the the way that they've been able to finance themselves by giving out this access and body modification. If you really think about it, I always say like there wasn't a whole bunch of women who were curvy like that. I mean, there was women who were curvy, but it was like crazy to see a woman who was curvy. Like, oh my God, she's got ass.
Mhm.
Now every time you turn around, there's an ass. It's not special anymore.
Mhm.
So it's like if you find someone with a natural, all natural body that looks nice, that's actually very rare. So now that everyone kind of starts looking the same, and now it's trying to get all the men who just want to look even, they're going to get finance for that. I think it's exploited more, which may make it seem like there's a lot more, but I don't think there is actually a lot more. It's just a lot more in your face.
Yeah, I think these women were probably strippers first, and now that they have another avenue to make money.
The women that I know personally they never been on the stage before.
Well,
That
let me tell you this: if they're on OnlyFans, they got it in them to be on the stage. You cannot look.
but I think
You
that it's
cannot tell me a woman just doesn't wake up and be like, "Oh, I want to show that." She always had that in her. She
I,
had that in her to go
I
out and say, "Oh, I'm going to share a sexual video." OnlyFans is no different from porn. Being a porn worker,
that's
there's no difference. You probably
yeah,
don't
I
want to
agree.
audition for it. You just it's porn work.
I agree. But uh, someone getting on stage and someone doing something on a camera is two completely different things. Uh, d- Being just doing something on a camera is going to be much easier than getting in front of a crowd of people, a
Oh,
crowd of
sure.
men.
I wouldn't
So,
disagree with that, but they're both
so
the same. They're
no, I agree that they're both the same. All that I'm saying is that it'll be easier for a person to film themselves and then upload it. In most cases, most people do that already. They've already been trained to do it. And if they did convert to go to OnlyFans, they probably already have videos in their phones of them doing the same acts that they're going to be posting anyways. So I think that is two completely different things. Um, with being on stage in front of people and being behind a camera and posting it. But I think with in this generation of where people are exploring uh, more drugs, and it being normalized in Black culture to try specific drugs, I think that also ushers in the being promiscuous, and feeling okay with it. Motherfuckers getting cracked in the club more often than not now. It's just it's cool.
yeah.
But back in the day, it like I said, it wasn't as welcomed and normalized as it is now.
Yeah, so I would agree that the platform has been normalized, like as some type of no, but so hey, it's Pornhub, all the other sites that are for I think that just that access to things of that nature has been normalized, so to speak, right? So I think this is just another more fancier way to do the same thing those people have been doing because they upload photo. I assume it's those videos are uploaded, no different from they're uploaded from it. The only difference is you can control your own page when it comes to OnlyFans, whereas when you upload it to, I guess the the porn site. I don't know, but when you upload to the porn site, you don't have control of it. It goes into a, I don't know,
The
or what,
server.
right. So all I'm saying is, if a woman does an OnlyFans, if a woman is a dancer, if a woman is any of those things, she already kind of, it was either her hands were tied behind her back, maybe she had to make some moves because she could have kids to feed or things, or she just always had it in her. She don't mind doing that. And I don't think it's the majority. I think that when you look at it, when you walk outside and you see people, most of those people that you see do not have an OnlyFans. I think most of the women you may want on Instagram may have an OnlyFans, but the regular folks, the everyday chick, I don't think that for the most part they have OnlyFans.
I don't know, Sam.
I mean, are we talking about what we don't know, or are we saying the reality of it? Because when I looked it up, according to the thing, it's only 300,000. They had 300,000 applicants, and OnlyFans only chose 41% of the 330,000 applicants. So I didn't even know that they filter out. You can't. They. According to this, what I just googled, they can deny you. That'd be suck if you get denied by OnlyFans. Like, girl, keep that vagina to yourself.
But there's still other platforms that they can upload to though.
Sure. Yeah, there are, but what I'm saying to you is
How many
majority
applicants
of
is it?
women are not on these platforms. We're talking about majority of the population are not on these platforms.
How many applications did you say?
So are you saying majority of the women in the
I'm
United
asking the
States are,
question, Sam.
300,000 is what she said,
You said 300,000.
yes.
and they chose 41%. But I see the point that you're about to push is the
300,000 is a lot of people.
not really. Think
No.
about how many people there are worldwide. Think about how many people there are in the United States. Even
Bro,
that
300,000 isn't a lot of people.
no, not when you look, not when you look at the sheer numbers. How many people are in the United States? Just look at the United States. How
Hey,
many
it's
people are in the
like 60
United
million.
States total?
60,
We're
about
talking less
60 million.
than we're talking well under 10%. Well under. So that's really not that's let me rephrase. Yes, that's a lot of people. But when you talk about the number of people in the world, in the United States even, is not that many people.
I mean that's fair. I get it. I still think that's
That's
a
the
lot.
two hoes in every city on OnlyFans or applied to OnlyFans. Now, just I want to make one. I want to clear one thing up. I actually just spoke with my son, so it's actually two women and in his apartment, two women, two gentlemen. There is a common area and a common kitchen. They're separate. It's basically like two different two-bedroom apartments joined by
That's not
a
the same.
kitchen and a living room. And apparently they can close the girls can close off their area and the boys can close off their area. So I
That's
misspoke earlier. I just wanted to clear the record.
No, so let me just put things in perspective with these numbers, okay? It says here, under stat, I'm trying to see, it says fau.edu, more than 1.1 million African American men are imprisoned. That's not the majority. So to put things in numbers, and we know most men are not in jail. Just to give you an idea of when it comes to compare it to.
Yeah, it's a big number, but it's not really. It's it's a small number, and that's just comparing it to the population of the U.S. But when you
man.
look at it from a worldwide view, what is it? 4 billion people on the planet. 300,000 applied for OnlyFans. Not really that many.
That's a lot of people, bro. I hear what y'all saying, but that's a lot of people in
And
my.
please keep in mind too, 70% are women, 30% are men who, so it says content creators. It didn't say women to men. It just said how many. 30% are men, 70% are women. So there's a 30% of those people are men.
Okay.
Because you know you got to self-satisfy the men who like men urge. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't on there for a woman now.
That's crazy.
I mean, it is what it is. They say Tiger on there. He's like a top. I don't know what he's doing though. Maybe he's just showing his toes too. Who knows?
Mm.
Damn near.
Yeah.
They had him listed at the top.
That's crazy. But he did get into the game what back in like 2012, like 2010, something like that.
Mm.
Like he got into the porn. I don't think he was actually
Oh,
doing
he's
porn.
actually doing.
I
Who we
don't know.
talking about?
I don't know if he's actually doing porn, but I know like
I
back
thought he
in
was just on there
2010,
flexing some muscles or something.
Who we talking about?
Tiger,
Tiger.
the rapper.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I don't know nothing about dude.
yeah, I know back in like 2010 or something like that. He um he had got into maybe like producing porn or something like that, kind of like how Snoop Dogg did at one point, and I'm assuming he just ran with it.
Mm, I don't know.
But 300,000 is still a lot of people though, man.
It's a decent amount, but it's not the majority.
That's fair.
I
That's
wish I had my other phone because I really don't see that as a lot of people. What I like the way my mind works, I'm like, okay, so how many cities are there in the world? Like just total number of cities.
So let's see a city that has 300,000 people, and I'm gonna look at that up. Okay.
And then I say, okay, so let's say there are 70,000 cities. So we're talking 2.2 OnlyFans per city. That's not a lot of people. That like you got like shit. I could go around the corner and find a hoe. I mean, shit. That's not a lot. That's a really small number.
if you can go, you said you can go around the corner and find a hoe.
Right.
That is a
You
lot.
could
That's that's
you
that's
could too.
that's like so if let's say you go down Figaro Street or something in California where uh where they are on the corner, right? If it's 20, if it's 10 females outside, that looks like a lot. You know what I'm saying? If you roll down the street a block and it's 10 women on the stroll,
Hmm.
that looks like a lot of people, bro.
It
We
does,
know it
but
looks like a lot of people. We're not saying it's a lot, not a lot of people. We're just
Y'all
saying
are
in the
saying that
grand
it's not a
I'm
lot
scheme.
of
saying it.
people.
I'm I'm
In the
saying I'm
grand
saying
scheme of
precisely that.
things, it's not a lot of people.
Yeah, like when so you can make think about it like this. You can make money just by posting pictures of you naked. And you got let's call it 30 strippers that work at one club. Those 30 could have all applied to OnlyFans, which would go into that 300,000 number.
And
Is
they
like
probably do.
right, which means that we're not really talking about a whole bunch of people. We're talking about a certain sect, a certain group of people, and 300,000 is just not a lot.
Man,
I,
let
I,
let the news let the news uh get on and say there's 300,000 killer bees, killer wasps that has entered Virginia or wherever it is that you said that you was from or in what state you're in. That's a
No,
lot. That's a lot, bro. That number
and
alone.
then we have to worry about those killer bees mating. Like, but then we could like it
Exactly.
like that
Exactly.
like that
So
would
just
be a
imagine.
lot. But
Just
wait,
imagine.
that's a lot to, let's say we were talking Virginia. That's a lot to Virginians. That ain't shit to Californians. Like, man, we ain't got to deal with that. This just so if you took those same 300,000 killer bees and spread them out across the world, then that's not a lot.
So let me ask you a
You
question.
see what I'm saying?
Do you think so in comparison, so I gave a real comparison, right? So you have 300,000 women who have gave themselves to OnlyFans, but you have 1.1 million men in jail, okay, who are imprisoned for
Okay,
whatever reason.
That's a lot.
that is a lot.
It's a lot, but when you look at the world, you know that there are not more men in prison than there are good men, black men walking the,
Well,
in the.
yeah, no, of course, of course.
That
But why can
uh,
you see it that way, but not the other way? And it's less.
What you what you mean? I'm not saying that there's no good women out here. Like that's not what I'm saying. All that I'm saying is that 300,000 people on OnlyFans is doing sex work. That's a lot of
They're
people.
not all doing sex work. There are people who are just showing their toes on OnlyFans.
That's still sex work.
in there people that actually read books on OnlyFans.
Yeah,
Like that's
no,
literally
start,
what they do.
it started off as
I'm
something
gonna go
else.
on
But,
there and
but
read the
then it,
Bible to y'all. So you come to OnlyFans. Let me bring Jesus to you.
Only if you do it naked.
What?
I said what I said.
I don't think God will like that very much.
Then don't read the Bible. Read something else.
You do Adam and Eve. Hey, what are your leaves on you?
it,
Like in
hey,
the
and
beginning,
for the record,
God
for
created.
the chat, like
Let
I
me
mean,
stop.
if
That
you
wasn't funny. I apologize.
for the record and for the people in the chat, if I'm not judging it, is if that's what you want to do, by all means, then go ahead and do it. That's one of your God-given rights in this beautiful country of the US and A. But all that I'm saying is just that that's a lot of people to be influenced by it, and then of course with this younger generation that's already more hypersexual, we can very much see that number double within just 2 years.
I can't argue that.
so
I won't argue that either.
so again, that is a lot of people because that 300 can turn into a million within less than 5 years.
Unless
OnlyFans,
they get denied.
what
OnlyFans out here denying folks.
shit, then they're gonna just jump to a different platform. Because what OnlyFans really got popular around 2021, during the pandemic or whatnot. That's when we really found out about it. So if we see it get to 300,000 people within 3-4 years, then just imagine again what it'll do in 5 years.
But you
So,
know what? That's a result of people don't go to church no more. People don't believe in higher. If they
oh
do,
yeah, ain't no morals.
they don't do anything. They don't steal things like that into their kids anymore. So it's like it's leaving your kids out here like a free for all, like oh anything goes type of situation. When we were growing up, we had morals. You were scared of God. Floozy
So
to sit down somewhere.
so to to me that's all that's venturing into a whole different type of conversation, because back then, and when we say back then, to the people that are watching, when we say back then wasn't that long ago, y'all.
It wasn't.
Back then we're literally talking from about 2001 and
We're seeing
before.
pre-social media age.
And back then the individualism wasn't really there. The village was still allowed to to have their input in making sure you were moving the right way. So now we are so individualized, and we are leaning on our own moral compasses
Yep.
when we don't really have a foundation. And it's crazy to me that even if even if you're, let's say you don't believe in God and you're an atheist, even then the village was still allowed to correct you. You are now simply guiding yourself on what you believe to be right and wrong. And we need to get back to that place to where we trusted the people around us to make sure that we were doing what was, I'm going to use one of Miss Taken's words, that we were doing what was righteous, that we were doing what was morally correct, and not going off of just our own idea of what it should be, which is how we run amok. And we got boys trying to compete in girl races and ridiculous. Like, there's just a whole bunch of ridiculousness that's come from this hyper individualized, over sexualized, individualistic mindset that I get to set my own course when when we know it to have the ability to break society, i.e. Rome and Sodom and Gomorrah and all of these other things. We know what this individualistic and singular mindset does to a society, and we're still pushing that direction. Make it make sense. I'm sorry. It's just crazy to me, y'all. The way people move, and I can do what I want to do, and you can't say anything about what I do because that's just what I want to do.
Yeah. No regular. Like everybody needs rules, or it's gonna just get crazy. Wow. Let me just tell y'all what happened to me, y'all. Y'all ready for story time?
Oh, here we go.
Somebody tried to drea me. You know what I'm saying? Without the baby. So
Wait,
I
what
know
you
it's a little
mean?
deep. What?
What you
Can't
mean,
help it. I
Dre?
be fly. You know what I'm saying? Real life, I'm a little fly. Um, but I sat down and talked to this young individual because he's a lot younger than me, and I just wanted to know. I was like, let's divert the attention from me. Let's divert it somewhere else. So let's look at these options we got going on, right? Because he was like, oh, there are no options, and I agree. So, because sometimes these guys think they go towards these women because those are the women who are in the environment, right? Those are the ones who gonna show up at the games, be at the parties, and always in their face. So I asked who was the last person, and he pulled up the girl, and obviously she looked just like the rest of them. Okay. And so I think I did a pretty good job. I talked him off of that. I hope I did. I talked about, like, think about your kids. I mean, this girl's half naked in all of her pictures on Instagram, like half naked. She definitely, if she doesn't have an OnlyFans, she might as well, because she's giving it out free on Instagram. You feel me? So I'm like, why don't you? And I know this guy. Like, I know how his family raised him. I know so much, and he's just a good dude who just so happens to play, you know. And I tried to talk him off that ledge. Like, this ain't what you want. I don't know why. And I try to ask him, like, what do y'all see in these
Wait, wait,
women?
wait.
Wait,
You try to
so
talk him off the ledge from smashing a pretty girl? Am I hearing the story right?
right.
I tried to talk him off the ledge from getting his heart involved, because I could tell
Oh, he was falling for her.
he said
Oh,
he didn't.
oh.
But listen, I'm older than you. I know when you're talking to somebody and you kind of starting to get them little, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I think you. I understand you. It's cooler to say I'm just, but I can tell in the way you're talking that you're falling just a little bit.
Eh,
Does he have
Brother.
male figures in his life?
Yeah, he has a full family. Like this is no this guy has
how
a
old is he?
village. Young,
He said he has a pension.
a village
Oh, okay. How old is he?
in them 20s, late 20s.
Oh shit! I don't know. You ain't supposed to fall for. You should know by then. You don't fall for
But
them.
the reason why is because he's a good dude. You know how sometimes good dudes,
Oh, we're gonna get to it, huh?
I you
Good
know,
dudes get played. I
don't
see.
make me looking at my stuff and then figure people out. Nah, I'm just gonna leave that man in business alone. But let me just tell you, I think I did the God's work by one
You,
denying that opportunity and
you know he ain't gonna listen, right?
and
That's a
two,
fact, Biz.
you're
Like
right.
what? You just
I tried.
yeah, he ain't gonna listen.
I
Let
tried to
them.
be the mother figure in the situation. Like, listen, if you are my son, no, it's not going down that way.
See, it's so. Oh man, it's unfortunate. I would think by 29 or in your late 20s. I don't know how. And this is just men in general. Not even. We're just gonna take that story and toss it to the 20 somethings in general. You would think by then you got to you know you don't fall for them type of chicks. You should have seen enough of the game to understand what kind of game that they run, and especially when you got good men in your life that's supposed to give you the game. Now, if he's falling, that means she put that wop shebang on him.
But you know what? They all so what I'm saying. There's nothing
Right.
different about this man, this woman who's different from all the other women who they usually go for, right? And so I think that these women know what these guys they study it, right? They give you they know exactly what you want. They find themselves in the right places, the right time, looking the right kind of way to just get into your head, right? And I'm like, why don't these guys see that's what's going on? I don't understand.
So you made a statement that's completely inaccurate because you don't get to date women. There's something different about every single one of them.
Yeah,
There's
I don't get to date
something
them.
there's something different about every single one of them. And if she's tapped into his mental and she put that wop shebang on him, my boy is gonna have to learn this lesson. It's unfortunate.
He ain't
He
gonna
ain't gonna
learn
listen.
nothing. Listen, he got a great mentor in me.
I don't know.
Mm,
I
I don't
will
know.
pop up at the game and show out. You heard him if you want to.
No, I don't
I
know,
will
AP.
turn
I
into
think a lot of
crazy
them are the same,
shit
man.
over my people.
no,
Especially
there's something different about every single one of them. I didn't say that the differences were huge,
right.
but for example, that's one has figured out that you like to play Scrabble, so she learned to play Scrabble so that she could get more of whatever she was trying to get from you. So you got one that'll use her brain. Then you got one that's figured out if that figured out if
Might be
she
a
moves
keeper.
it, yeah, slightly to the left, you do that your right leg does a shake,
So
and you
she
like that
she
shake in the
enjoys
right
she
leg. So
enjoy that
there's
shit
always
every night.
and again, once a woman actually taps in from that physical into that man's mental, whatever lesson he's gonna learn, he's gonna have to learn it from that because he in most cases he won't be able to separate it, and it's just gonna be a hard ass lesson to learn. It
He
is
said
what it is.
he knows I do this show, and he said he didn't mind being a guest on my show. I was like, I'm not gonna let you do that either.
Oh no, don't they?
I was like, nah, I'm not gonna even throw you out here to these wolves. You don't want no part of this.
Yeah, Viz and HD, Viz and HD, wear his ass out. Pause.
Yeah, he not ready for this conversation. Mm-mm.
Speaking of not ready for the conversation, I know who ain't been talking down there on in that bottom corner.
Now she counting that money. She is
I'm
counting
listening.
money.
I have a little bit of a crisis. So I was crisising as I was listening. As the
What the register
crisis
came up short.
well, one of my servers, she's a bartender too, and some days, she goes back and forth, and he clocked in under the wrong thing. So Yeah, it looks like everything's short, but I just can't. I can't see it. Like where and what, why and how. And it's okay. It's fine. We're gonna just, I don't like to stay here too late. So, we gotta call it quits at some point. Then we come back with a brand new mind, brand new thoughts in the morning. That's what we do. You
That's a
know,
fact.
that's what
Sometimes
you
you
got. You
that's a
got
good
it.
lesson for everybody. Sometimes you just got to step away. I promise you, the work ain't going nowhere.
It ain't going nowhere. It'll be here. It'll be
And
here.
and I think that because one thing I agree with Viz, I like to move towards solution. And one of the things that what Miss Polly was talking about is something that actually can remove the stress from a day. If you just drop it, let it go because it's going to be there tomorrow.
Don't
I
wait. I'm
promise it'll be there tomorrow.
waiting for you. Don't worry. I'll be up before you.
And then when you get the opportunity to look at something with fresh eyes and a fresh mind, it gives you a whole different perspective than what you had the day before.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go play basketball. Sometimes you just got to go play video games. Sometimes you got to go break the headboard open. It is what it is.
Yeah, I can't remember who said it, but there's a quote that you can't solve a problem with the same mind mentality that created it. And
Mm,
uh, one
hmm
of the things that one of the things that Abraham Lincoln used to do was they would say if he was ever conflicted with a issue or a problem, he would go for a walk and then come back and reapproach the situation. So yeah, no, I'm definitely for me as a creative, if I ever get into a space where I have a creative block, I'll put it down, um, have a pomerado or some shit like that, where you take this break and just disconnect from whatever it is that you're doing and engage in something else, and then come back to it. You kind of replenish yourself. So
hmm
I do agree with that.
Yeah, and I know that was kind of off subject of what we were talking about. I just feel like when the opportunity presents itself, go ahead and speak on it.
Yeah, I don't think that there's too many solutions uh with this issue supposedly, just because um I mean prostitution has been sex workers have been one of the oldest jobs since the beginning of time. So
Facts.
I don't think that there's necessarily a solution to it aside from um not allowing people to feel as comfortable with it in public, in a public setting.
So so to piggyback off of that, yeah, and you're right, it's literally the oldest profession. But when the men and I'm gonna go back to Roman times, when the men would go off to war, the concubine would be in the rear. They would be the ones bringing up supplies, like I'm not talking about for the troops, but like food and stuff like that. But they had them in the rear for a reason, as a form of like shame. You're gonna be in the back. You're always gonna be looked down upon. And the only solution that I could see out of this mess that we're in is, instead of allowing this minority to have such a loud effing voice, shut them up and then shame those that are practicing that negative behavior, and see if that works. Because I'm going to tell you, we're not going to get laws changed, which is the ultimate solution. So we have to get back to where those two holes in your town were undercover and quiet. What Viz was talking about earlier. Those that smashed knew, but they didn't want the whole town knowing. and we need to get back to something like that. But right now, with these 300,000 applicants and 41% of them being all put on Front Street and being having the opportunity to be that loud minority, we're always going to lose. It's always going to be a loss. And Viz, I do want to agree that 300,000 is a lot. You're right.
300,000 is a lot, bro.
Like from the argument that I was making earlier, I just look at it. I was looking at it from the standpoint of when we're talking total population, it's not a lot of people, but that the influence that 300,000 people have is huge. What their reach is long. Just imagine you had one person in a sexy red that basically had a generation of kids listening to her music and would rather listen to her music and dance hip hop when they were in a ballet class. That was just one person. 300,000 of those types of people. Mm,
That's a lot of
is a lot of people and a long reach. So we need to be mindful of what we consume. And I know guys are gonna be guys. We're gonna pay for that stuff. But yo, if you know your homeboy's doing it, shit, try to change his mind. If you got a homegirl that's on OnlyFans, try to change her mind. And that's really shit all we got. Otherwise, we're gonna stay down this path.
Make me
Just
laugh.
my opinion. Yeah,
Made
we
me
can hear
laugh.
you.
No, I
We can
said
hear
made
you,
me
but we
laugh.
can't see shit.
Listen. Okay, it's not my fault. We're just gonna
You, but
listen.
but
It's
you
not my
light skinned. We should be able to see you.
hey. Oh, I yeah, like you saying, like nowadays, now with the economy how it is, it's just it's like a joke to say you can convince somebody not to do OnlyFans when they're making it. We have no middle class at this point almost basically. So you're either gonna have money, or ain't gonna have money, and the ones who can't make it through the means of using their minds, they're gonna use their body, and you see that in other countries all the time. So, like you said, like it's not unusual. Prostitution in other countries is like, oh, okay, whatever, it's not a big deal. You can be a whole prostitute, have a husband and kids, and nobody bats an eye. Do I think we'll get to that point? Probably not. We're too Christian based here, but on the low, it is kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not unusual to hear those stories where you say, hey, you have side chicks, not even side chicks, landlords asking for sex. Just nobody speaks about it out loud. It's like more of a shame thing, but it's at the end of the day, you know, you can access or purchase activities, and it's not even something people bat an eye about. If it ever does come to a point, I think where it's legalized. I don't know what that would look like. It'd be interesting. I'll tell you that if it was legalized. I know you're making that face, but that also
it
gives
is.
women the option not to do it.
It is. It's
You see what I'm
legalized.
saying?
It's legalized in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but it's only in certain sectors. So that's what I'm saying. You have to drive to it. It's like having the casino in Florida, but you got to drive. I mean, you have to get on the boat and go out so many miles. It's
Yeah.
like that. I'm sorry, I'm like some kind of bug in the car. But yeah, you just gotta be mindful, basically, of that because you'll. Mm-mm, I don't want to be, and I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting. Like you said, the OnlyFans kind of is like the first version of it. I think the first version of actually seeing what it looks like when you can have access to sex and or sexual anything, and then pay for it.
Won't he do it? Where'd she go?
And
While
then
we're waiting, let's hit this super chat. Shout out Shan. That would be me. Oh, he's shooting his
I'm getting
shot.
attacked by a June bug. Hang on.
Thank you, Mills.
damn,
Shan, somebody shoot they shot at least once a show.
Baby. Make sure you're aiming right. I'm just like, it's a joke.
damn.
I'm on my way to Atlanta right now. Hey, let me go tell my wife what I'm going to do. Oh Lord.
We ain't gonna be doing nothing. We're gonna be sitting here and read a book together. That's what we're gonna
All
be
right,
doing.
shit, I'm
The
saying right
Bible.
here.
You gotta remember it's the Bible. It's the Bible.
Right.
We gotta read the
The
Bible.
Bible.
Oh man,
Mm-mm. Yeah, I definitely think it'd be interesting. But when you guys were, your topic though, the transactional, I mean, that's interesting because I said the transaction. I think everyone's gonna look at it as a transaction. It's just like, what are you just using as compensation? You know, some
Exactly.
people are like, yeah, I think it's, you know what, some people are like, oh, well, if you marry me, I get sexual access, I get this or this or this, and then you get, your bills paid or blah blah. So it's like, it's just like, what form of payment are you accepting? Not necessarily is it a transaction. It's a transaction, but what are you getting? It could be love, it could be emotion, it could be a feeling of safety, but it's
Yeah.
still a transaction, right?
Yep. It's still a transaction.
And that's
Uh,
okay.
yeah, that's perfectly okay. So me personally, I like to approach things just as simple as it can be. I like to take more simple approach to certain things because regardless of whatever may be the underlying factor or uh, what's want to dig deeper into it. I feel like that matters, but it's almost irrelevant because at the end of the day, it's still transactional. We can go through all of these different phases and conversations of it, but it's still some type of transaction being had. So I think that often when people hear that relationships are transactional, they immediately connect it to something that has to be negative, perceived negatively, or something that's sexual or something of that nature. Is more so just you're a human being, I'm a human being, in relationships. In order for this relationship to be a relationship, we both have to give each other something for it to make sense. Because if not, then you know what I'm saying, there's no relationship. If we're not giving each other something, there's no relationship. You're just a random person at that point. But if you're pouring into that person, be it like you said, time, um, emotion, sharing the space, uh, sex, money, whatever, is still transactional.
Viz, do just a quick question. Do you think that most people even know what they want out of a relationship?
I don't. I think people have an idea in which um in which I think is okay as well, but I don't think that people fully know what they want.
And see, and the reason I ask is because somebody might say, I want marriage. Yeah, but what do you want? What do you hope to gain out of marriage? And what do you want that other person to provide you to let you know that that is the person that you want to marry? Um,
I think people know that. I think that people know what they're attracted to, what it is that they desire, what they want, what they're looking for. I do think that they know that part. Um,
Can I
do
butt in real quick? This
it,
real Do you think that, you said you think people, they know what they want, but I don't think necessarily what they want is what they actually need.
that's something different. I think that you understand what you need at different points in your life. What it is that we needed 10, 15 years ago is something completely different for most people now. So that's why I think that it's okay to not know exactly what it is that you want because that's ever evolving,
so this is so
especially with women.
so you know that the trope of, 6 foot, 6 figure, 6 pack, at least 6 inches. You know that trope that they say that they want, but that doesn't really tell you what they want. Like, what do you want out of it? What do you hope to achieve? What is your goal? And when I say want, I look at it from more from that aspect. Like, what is your goal from this relationship overall? What do you hope to achieve, and what do you need to see in order to know that you have reached that goal? I think most people don't know. I think most people, when they get into a relationship, they don't have a clue. I think that they fall in love. For us men, we fall in love with that fat ass and them big titties and a little bit of submissiveness, and maybe she can cook a little bit. But what do we really want? What do we want to get from her? What are the intangible things that we're actually looking for to say, yes, that's the one? Because there are tons of women with fat asses that can cook with a little bit of submissiveness. Why her? Why that person? And vice versa for women. Yeah, you might find a dude that has that perfect 8.3 inches that you like, and he's 6'1", and shit, he might make $120,000 a year, so he fits into that six-figure category. But what do you truly want from him? If it's solely sex, then maybe you need to reevaluate the way you express you want your relationships to be. If it's more than that, maybe you need to really look in the mirror and say, what is it that I hope to get from this relationship, from this person? And then what do I have to offer that person? That is the other side of that coin. Do I have what that other person is looking for? I don't think we have real enough excuse me. I don't think we have real enough conversations um, early enough to determine if, in fact, that this person is a fit for you. Because you got to have these real conversations. The little things that I just mentioned, you got to have those conversations. Otherwise, you'll find yourself 7 years in, and you just wasted all of that time because you've gotten tired of the fact that he leaves his shoe in the middle of the floor, because what you want is a tidy man. Did you even consider that? So I don't think most people know what they want, and that was the reason why I asked it. Do you think beyond surface level that most people actually know what they want?
But I think that I
I
think
think
that
that I think there's a difference between a preference and what you actually end up working with, right? In your mind, it might says, "Oh, what's your ideal person?" Of course, you're gonna shoot for the stars, but then when you end up falling in love with somebody, he ain't nothing like the stars you shot for, right? So one is just okay, if I can put down, oh, ideally, this is what I want. You're gonna always put down like your dream, right? But that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that you're dating, because you may fall for a guy who don't need none of that. Most people do, and that's men and women alike. So I think that when people say they want certain things, I take that with a grain of salt. That's like it's a dream because you ain't met them yet. But when you meet a person, it's so much deeper than that superficial list that you have. Because, like I said, most people aren't with the people that they claim they want this, and this, and they ain't with it. They end up not even being with that type of guy. Period. So,
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I think the only way to know what you want is to experience what it is that you don't want. You know what I'm saying as well. So they could a woman could get with that guy that has those all of those credentials or whatever, but what comes with it, at, you know what I'm saying, and what costs are you going to have to pay to have that type of man. Or even with women, if a man wants a woman that's, you know, 5'5" with brown eyes and a fat ass, then and she dresses provocatively, then, you know, all right, well, you can get that, but what's going to come with that? Are you willing to deal with what's going to come with that? And shit, most people don't know until they get in that situation. So I think that another part of that is, you know, they got to go through it. So even with old boy that Shan was talking about earlier, I think that he's still going to try and ride that wave, and with that experience that he'll have with that, he's going to then realize, okay, well, no, I don't want to deal with this type of woman.
I totally agree with you on that. Like,
Yeah. I guess like one of the things I always like, I always tell people like is to find what you want, need, and what you can give. I think knowing like all three of those is really important when you're finding someone who's gonna outlive your changes. Because you obviously, like you said, like hey, everything your needs change as you get older, your experiences, things change. But you have some of the things that that aren't going to change in a person. Like those things are things you always want. Um, it's easier to find people who are going to be there for those long term relationships. Like I didn't look for that earlier. I thought what I should be looking for, for myself. I always thought, okay, I'm going to look for a guy who's going to provide for me, so I can, be able to do what I like to do, go learn, do whatever, blah, and make, my own little money too. That's what I thought. But like that's not really my personality. It doesn't even fit a person who's in that position, really. Um, I like to do too much movement for a man who'd want me to stay home. I fight. I would fight against it when I found men who would want to be in that place to support me. So it it didn't match well because I was looking for the wrong things that didn't match well with me. That would outstand time. So I think a lot of people need to kind of, like you said, like a lot of self evaluation. I won't even say like healing because I think if you just got to evaluate yourself first and then figure out where you maybe want to twerk some things, whatever. But like evaluate who you are as a person and find who matches that. It's not going to be the 6 foot guy all the time. Not going to be the 5'2" guy all the time. You got to find what matches well with you and who you actually are, not who you think you are all the time, because that could be incorrect.
yeah, that's actually been one of my major talking points. You've got to know yourself before you can actually really get in a real relationship. If you're not familiar with who you are truly, you won't have successful relationships. You just simply won't. Um, I I I just think that most people are afraid of what they see when they do look at themselves, because once you look inward, you start to see all of the things that you may not necessarily even like. You start to Nobody wants to be super critical of themselves. Nobody wants to be that self-aware.
You
Nobody
should.
wants to. You absolutely should. And it wasn't until I did to where I could actually have a successful relationship. Shit, I got better at even talking to people because I understood um, where where I was okay with conversations going and the things that I was okay with talking about, and understanding what my actual triggers are. Most people don't even know what their triggers are, or are afraid to even acknowledge them, or will say, no, I'm good, when they're not really that good. It's crazy what happens when you take an honest look in the mirror, which is why I think that in this space they push so much for therapy and healing because people are just afraid to take that honest look and say, you know what, I'm fucked up. I need somebody that's my kind of fucked up so we can make this shit work because we're all messed up in some kind of way. But nobody wants to admit it. Nobody.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at on that on this subject. Shan, did you have anything else for us, Miss
But I
Ma'am?
do not. Early Friday. Look at that Friday. Sorry, let me pause that. That was commercial. If you missed my beautiful melodious voice at the beginning, please rewind. I'm I'm joking. You guys, this wasn't gonna be a long night because it is the day after a holiday. But you guys, thank you for and Miss Polly showed up for us. You know,
Of
Miss
course.
Steve will be back. I think in 2 weeks. She is exploring either Asia or Europe, one of them continents. So, but we'll see her shortly again. But thanks you guys for showing up. I'll see you guys next Friday, maybe. Who knows? So, good night. Oh, my lips look so white.
Shan, I think we're still live.
Yeah.
It's ended.
Yeah. Say live on mine.
Mine too.
Why?
She said she got them crackhead lips on live.
I said, no,
we,
yeah. I said, why my lips look so white? It was looking real white, you know.
oh my gosh, we're still live.
Can y'all see my lips? Are they purple or white? Is that funny?
Y'all thinking of that Dave Chappelle skit?
Look.
Oh my gosh. And Shan,
They was looking real light. Oh, you know, I just brushed my teeth. When I start my camera off, I brush my teeth. That's dumb. That should have been, yeah.
they're still messing with you in the chat.
So my teeth are clean. Look. So I brushed my.
Oh, Shan, are you gonna end the show?
I'm trying. It's saying no. We can keep on talking. Look, this is God. God wanted us to say some other stuff. What else do we have to contribute to this conversation?
To this particular topic, I don't
Really
really
will
have.
not let me end it. JR's
Oh,
here.
Yeah, I guess I
there's
got. Oh,
It
huh?
says having trouble connecting. Please check. Oh, maybe my internet.